Hello, Thobela, dumelang re a lotjha. Avshen, it's me, Fade Up, and welcome back to another episode of the Pula Wellness Space podcast. I hope that you are warm. I hope that life is giving you the opportunity to experience the warm embrace of love in whichever way. Welcome back. I feel like today's podcast is going to have a different vibe from the first two. We'll see. The idea for this podcast came to me last night just before I fell asleep. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to sleep and I will record it the next day after work. So I'm recording it now. Um, Yet again, unplanned, unscripted. Um, and the starting point for today's podcast is tickling me a bit because it's enter your avatar era. As an Avatar, the Last Airbender, the cartoon. For those who haven't watched it, um, it's basically about this boy Aang, and he has to master all the four elements: water, air, earth, water, air, earth, and fire in order to bring peace among the nations and fulfill his destiny. That's the basic um, plots. Um, yeah, and that is the topic today because I'll be speaking about the four elements and using that as a way of approaching health and well-being, a possible way of approaching health and well-being. Before I get into that, I want to give a little bit of a background of like, why do I care? Why do I care that you are well? Um, why am I making this podcast? And I come from a place of genuinely believing that every single one of us is here on earth in this life, in this time, for a reason, and they have gifts that they are bringing into the world. And it's important that they're able to do that. And we are existing within a time where there are so many systems that make it difficult for people to be well and make it difficult for people to authentically be themselves. Capitalism, patriarchy, the ongoing impacts of colonization, so colonialism, um, and I think for a long time, well, the past year or two, I have spent so much of my time and energy talking about colonialism and the impact that it has, like in the university space, but also to my fortunate or unfortunate WhatsApp status viewers, because I feel so strongly about it. I feel so strongly about how deeply entrenched the negative effects of colonialism continue to affect our lives and our health and our well-being daily, um, and believe that we need to be aware of it and resist it. Um, and I think I yapped about it, spoke about it, engaged in discourse for so long that at some point I'm like, we have to move past this. We have to move past this point of just talking, just complaining, um, without providing space to imagine what could be different, to consider alternatives, to, yeah, think of different ways of being, offer something else. Um, there is something about complaining or discoursing about the things within different systems that dissatisfy us, that can give you a sense that you are doing something, that by virtue of um, speaking against, whether you're doing it like with your family or on social media or wherever, by virtue of speaking against something, it feels like you're doing something. It gives you um, some sense of power for knowing and for recognizing that systems are working against us as in against our well-being. Um, but collectively, I think we need to also, in addition to that, start dreaming, start imagining, start creating towards different ways. And so the things that I bring into the podcast are my way of bringing forth ways of accessing well versions of ourselves that are more accessible, or that provide you with options rather than tell you that this is the one thing that you must do in order to be well, when it might be something that is not accessible for some people because they can't afford it in terms of money, for some people because they can't, mm, it's not, they're not able to do it because of a physical limitation or impairment that they might have, or because of their cognitive makeup, the way that they think, the way that their brain works simply wouldn't work with certain approaches. So I, yeah, think it's good that people have options and they know that they have options and they're able to consider what works best for them. So we get back to the theme. Enter your avatar era. Maybe it's time you enter your avatar era and you look at the elements. Moya, mollo, metsi, mabu. And consider ways that you can connect to the elements in order to support your health and well-being, because we are not separate from nature. We are a part of nature. We relate to nature, and it's there to support us. It's there to support us. So, yeah, let's see which element we start with. In the last podcast, I spoke a lot about Moya, so I won't start there and I won't talk too much about it. Um, so let's start with water. How could you connect to water in a way that supports your well being? Let's see what's on this menu. Maybe you go outside and you go sit on a bench by the river and you can hear the sound of the water moving, going shh. And that sound is calming for you. Or you go by the ocean and you sit there or you lie there and you listen to the sound and it just does something for you. Makes you feel more calm, makes you feel better in a way that you can't explain. That's one thing on the menu. Maybe you consider how much water you're consuming. Are you staying hydrated? Are you getting enough water to support the daily functioning of the systems in your body? What's making it difficult if you feel like you're not hydrating enough? And what could make it easier for you? What could help you remember? Do you need to be using a water bottle that you take with you to work and you fill it and you just know that you must be finishing it? Do you need to be setting reminders, about hydration on your phone just to remind you if forgetting is an issue in terms of hydrating? That's another thing on the menu. Maybe you go take a shower, nice, warm or hot shower, whichever way you like it. And it makes your body feel so relaxed. Or a nice bath. Maybe you put in some salts or an essential oil that you like in there and it smells so good. And as you feel the warmth of the water on your body, you feel yourself relaxing. You feel your body relaxing. It's soothing in some way. That's something on the menu. Maybe you take a cold shower. You go the Wim Hof method kind of direction. Um, cold cold water showers for some are something that can be very relaxing. They've been found to have an effect on the nervous system in a way that allows for stimulation of that parasympathetic nervous system and calming afterwards. And so some people find doing cold showers in the morning is actually helpful for them. I am not one of those people, but maybe you are. That's something on the menu. That's something on the menu. And for some people who do, there's the option of spiritual practices that relate to water. Yeah, there are people who will go to a waterfall or go into the ocean and, pour that water over their head. And as they do that, they think about the things that they want to let go in their lives, the things that are no longer serving them, and they let those things wash down. They make the decision to let them go. That's something on the menu. And you can even do that with your daily shower. I believe so much in, I don't know, sprinkling magic into every part of your day. So you might be there thinking, oh my goodness, the thing that would fix my life is if I would go to a waterfall, with this person and water is poured over my head and I feel better, but I can't go because I can't afford to go, or it's so far and I don't have a car, and there's obstacles to you accessing the element that you feel like would bring you wellness in the way that you're imagining. But maybe there's another way. Maybe you're not going for a cleansing by the waterfall yet, but you get into your shower, you put on the water, and as it washes over you, you think of those things that you want to let go. I let go of this. I let go of what doesn't serve me anymore. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's enough. Maybe what is available to you now is enough. Hey, that's the menu for water. I'm sure there are many other ways, many, many other ways. Another thing I like to do as a daily thing is like when I drink water, like thinking about it, like imagining it hydrating all of my little cells in my body. Um, Imagining it nourishing me, imagining it making me well. Yeah. Um, I'm visual in that way, so I like to picture things. But that's part of the things that are on the menu for water. What are the ways that you connect with water that make you feel good, that make you feel calm, or make you feel energized? Because it's different for everyone. Okay, we leave the element of water and we go to the next one. Earth, Mabu, the land, the land, the land, the land, the land of wherever you are on Mother Earth. How could you connect to the land in a way that is nourishing for you? Maybe you take off your shoes and you take off your socks and you go outside and you walk barefooted and you feel the sensation of the soil on the soles of your feet, and you feel you feel or imagine being held, having your weight held by the earth as you do that. And you remind yourself that there's always support. You are always supported by the earth. Now, that I like to have that thought or affirmation personally when I just like lie down on my yoga mat on the floor and I relax my body and I release my weight and I remind myself that I am always supported by the earth. And this, I think I picked up from when I was doing yoga a few years back with um, Yoga with Adrienne on YouTube. Yeah, that's the earth. Maybe connecting to the earth is going outside for a hike on your own or with your friends, and you look at what nature has to offer you. Ooh, you smell. Do you know that smell when it has just recently started raining? Just the smell of the soil of the earth. I know there's a word for it. It starts with a P, but you smell nature. You smell the soil. You see the beauty of the trees around you. You see the beauty of the trees around you. You feel the shade of the trees protecting you from the heat of the sun on that day. One of the things that have come up with me teaching Sepedi is noting how the word for medicine is ditlhare, and the word for ditlhare or setlhare, and the word for tree is motlhare. Because it seems that within that there's this acknowledgement of trees which are relate to the element of earth as healing things, right? As things that have the capability to heal. And it's the same with Shitsonga, which I'm learning now, because Miri, Um, Miri is the word for medicine, and the word for tree is a similar word. I went into a tangent there because I really love trees. Um, I love trees, and the earth is not just the ground and the soil, but it's also what comes from the soil. It's thinking about what are the ways that um, the things that grow from the soil give us the food that we eat, and it's nourishing to me. It's in thinking about how so many different kinds of medicines, whether herbal medicines or like Western medicine pills, a lot of them are taken from tree extracts. Many things on the menu for the earth. Maybe you're taking something into your body. Maybe you're lying down under the tree. Maybe you look at the tree and you remind yourself of the beauty that exists in the world. Maybe you look at the thick roots of the tree, so firmly rooted into the earth, and it is the reminder that you are supported by the earth like the trees, and you can try and cultivate this sense of being grounded, the sense of being grounded as you look at this tree with the thick, thick trunk. I like to imagine the baobab. And at times when I'm not feeling so grounded, I imagine the baobab, I imagine the roots, and I breathe deeply and I try to connect to a sense of stability and grounding. That's the earth. It has so much to offer us. And my personal belief is it's not a personal belief, it's fact. So much of the harm that colonialism has done has been through disconnecting people from the land, having people no longer growing their own food, and so they are dependent on um, other people, or having money in order to be able to eat and survive. And so, even when the job is literally destroying their health, they have no choice but to work, because they need to survive. Because so many of us have been disconnected from the practice of growing our own food. So much have been so many have been dispossessed of their lands. So many of our ancestors have been forcibly removed, um, from land that they were deeply relating to. And when I think about the earth and connecting to the earth, I want us to remember that there are many levels at which we can try and reconnect to the land. And in some spaces, it's advocacy towards reclamation of land through legal means. For some, it might be taking the time to go outside, just go outside and connect to nature. And sometimes you don't even need to go anywhere. You can sit outside and look at the tree or the flower nearby. Look at the trees, look at the stars. Remind yourself that there is so much more. Let yourself witness nature and learn from it. Let yourself witness things grow and one of the things that I really want to do this year is growing my own things because I want to be able to put something in the soil and watch it grow, watch it become something. Because I believe that in some way that is empowering to have something um, that I, with my own hands, put into the soil and watch it grow. I feel will be a reminder of the possibility of growth, but also a reminder that there's room to collaborate with the earth in some way to make things happen. Um, I'm realizing that I actually have a lot to say around trees and growing things and expanding that into a community level. Um, but I won't go more into it. All I'm saying is there are many, many, many ways that you can connect to the earth in a way that is nourishing to you, in a way that is supportive to you. That's earth. Fire. Ooh, that's an interesting one. Big ball of fire in the sky, the sun. Let's see what's on the menu. Maybe you go outside and you just feel the sensation of the warmth on your skin as the rays of the sun hit it. If it's midday, maybe you put on some sunscreen. That's free. The sun is free. It feels like such a silly thing to say, but there are so many benefits to it. We know that sun exposure helps to ensure that your body can create vitamin D. That's free. Research has also shown that if you're trying to regulate your sleep patterns, you're struggling to sleep, part of sleep hygiene is getting sunlight, natural light in the morning is part of the things that can help regulate um, your own sleep cycle. That is free. Um, this is reminding me of how when we were younger, um, my siblings and I like to wake up late or like wake up and then like watch TV and eat and stay in the house. And then my mom used to say, "You, to be like, oh, so you're just gonna wake up and stay in the house?" And would be like, yeah. Um, but I was recently reminded of this because I was doing a course on pain management, and we were talking about sleep as one of the things that you can do in order to manage your pain. Because when you get enough sleep, then your the inflammation levels in your body are able to go down, and that is likely to have your pain also go down as well. And I was just thinking, you know what? This some recent research, but my mom knew this all along. um, yeah, big ball of sun, big ball of light, big ball of fire in the sky is free. Get some sun. And this is like I think about this a lot for us who those of us who work indoors and you're not getting natural light for most of the day, and then you if your commute is short or you're traveling in a car and you're not necessarily getting some sun, a lot of us are not getting enough sun. Get some sun. Fire. Sometimes it's putting on a candle, another thing on the menu. Maybe it's a candle with a scent if you're a person who enjoys certain like odors. Uh, if that makes you feel relaxed, that makes you feel good, that makes you feel lush. Maybe you put on a nice candle that smells good and it makes your whole space smell good. That's one way. Or you put on a candle with no scent and you silently ask for light in your life, for illumination, so you may see something that you're not seeing more clearly. I think in a lot of, let me not say a lot, but there's quite a few spiritual practices that involve lighting candles. And whether you verbalize it or not, you can, when you light a candle, put the intention of, I would like to have more light shed on this area of my life so I may have clarity, so I may see more clearly. That's another way. Or if you're in a space where you can, where you are lighting actual fires, that's another cool way to use that light and warmth of the sun, of the fire. I am loving this topic. Um, I think it's very clear now that there are many ways that we can connect to the elements that can be nourishing to us, to our well being. As I said, if you want to go more into air, moya, that is the topic for the last episode. And if things were up to me, I would add music, sound, not music, but sound as an element to connect to. One might argue that maybe it can fall under air, but sound as a healing element is um, something that I've been reading a lot about this year because I absolutely, absolutely love music and connect to it in a way that is impactful on me. There's music that calms me down, there's music that energizes me, there's music that helps me, push through things when I need to, music that helps me work out, music that helps me get the dishes done. Um, I play music a lot, but also I've been reading a lot about music also from musicians who are also healers, um, like Dr. Nduduso Makatini, who's a jazz musician. His PhD is written around improvisation in jazz. But if you listen to a lot of his interviews, he speaks a lot about ingoma um, as a healing thing, and that as a known thing within our South African indigenous knowledge systems. Um, Dr. Nkosinati Koela um, is also a musician and healer, and his PhD is around Ngoma consciousness, um, sound, and vibration as healing modalities that can be explored, utilized, accessed within the South African context, but beyond that as well. Anywho, all that to say, Sound is a really cool thing. Sound affects us in many ways. And if things were up to me, the fifth element that the avatar would have to master to bring peace into the world would be sound. Maybe you create your own menu. You take out a little page, you put the different elements, and then you write down what are the ways that I can connect to, that I can connect to, or that I connect to water that are nourishing to me? What are the ways that I connect to the earth that are nourishing to me? What are the ways that I connect to fire or, yeah, fire that are nourishing to me? And you put it all down. What are the ways that I connect to sound? What is the music that makes me feel good? I feel like I have a sound and music agenda. But imagine having all of that down in one space, in a space that you can see, and trying to do as many of those things as possible, and having that as a resource that you can reach out for when you just don't feel right and you're not sure what to do, and you pick an element and you look and you pick something that is accessible to you in that moment and you do it, and maybe it makes you feel a little bit better in that moment. I like these exercises. That's also something that I haven't done before, but I'm actually going to do this week. Um, yeah, I like that. I think that we are nearing the end of this podcast. We're nearing the end of this podcast, but that is the exercise that I leave to you. I'm sure there are many, many, many more ways of connecting to the elements that are healing, um, that you can think of and that apply to you. What I also want to say is nothing I say in my podcast will be new. Somebody said it before, somebody's written it before, somebody's put it down somewhere before, because nothing is new under the sun. Not really. Um, some things we've seen before and we forget. And maybe this serves as a reminder. Some things somebody in your family used to do and you saw how it worked for them, but you haven't tried it or you haven't done it in a while. Maybe this is the reminder for you. Okay, that's all. Enter your avatar. Enter your avatar era, and I will catch you next time on the Bula Wellness Space podcast. Who knows what the next episode will be about? It's certainly not me. Cheers.